as a veteran, small business owner, what can we do for you?
What we can all do for all veteran business owners is promote each other.
My main mission was to look at tools of technology to leverage small business and give them more of a competitive advantage.
My mission for Veteran Bargains is very simple: to help vets.
That story in itself, to run for Vista City Council, is a journey.
I think this is an opportunity to really collaborate with those gone before us.
It's really kind of a labor of love.
And now your host.
Well, hello, welcome to the Veterans Radio Show and Podcast. I hope that you're having a phenomenal day, and thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Laura Torres. On the Veteran Radio Show, we talk to heroes who are making it happen, action, live, promoting and sharing and supporting the veteran community. So thank you so much for your support. We look forward to your comments and, of course, to you to tag your network and to let them know that this is happening right now. We want to welcome our live audience on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Amazon Live, and of course, our podcast listeners. Thank you so much for all of your support. We'll continue to bring you live guests, live action, live heroes who are making it happen thanks to your continuous support. On this Veterans Radio Show, without you, we will not be able to bring you segments such as this one. So make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button because we want to continue to bring you great, phenomenal guests like Andrew Appleton for this particular show, a former U.S. Marine enlisted and Marine officer. He is successfully separated as a Major 04, and since then he has founded multiple entrepreneurship ventures, but today we're here to talk about Parade Deck. His platform supports veteran organizations to promote their live and social media events. He also provides marketing consulting with several military associations and veteran groups. His goal is to provide a voice to the small and local community of veteran support groups. So make sure that we all give a warm welcome to Andrew Appleton, our guest for today. Thank you, Andrew, for joining me. Welcome.
Hey. Thanks, Laura. So good to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And I have been following you for so long. And thank you for all your support to the military community, specifically to the employment aspect of your work with active duty spouses. And so thank you for everything you do. And thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. And I myself been following you too. And I'm a huge fan of your work and your multiple entrepreneurship ventures that you have, launched over the years since we have known each other for, I would say, close to over 3 years, perhaps.
Yeah, at least.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So when you send me an update about this particular one, I was super excited to talk to you more about it, but also introduce it to our veteran community, our network, because I think it's such a great platform. Of course, all of the other ones I'm always looking forward, so eager to share. But this particular one, I just got very excited because it really looks like it's a great way to amplify visibility to a lot of our members who are just out there on social media navigating the event notification and event visibility. And I think with your platform, we can definitely look into amplifying that. But first, I want to know more about you and your military experience. Tell us your story. How do you connect? How did this all Andrew Appleton, Mr. Marine Corps, started?
Yeah. So thank you for asking that. And great introduction to Parade Deck. I couldn't do it better myself. I think as an entrepreneur, we're really good at creating things and making all the bells and whistles. But then when someone says, well, what does it do? You're kind of like, well, it does, we get really technical and sometimes we lose the audience. And so you did a great job articulating that. I learned about the Marine Corps when I was 10 years old. My brother was in the Marine Corps and unfortunately, he was killed when I was 10 years old. And at his funeral, now I lived in Kansas and he was in California, and I met the young Marines at that time that were doing the ceremonial aspect of the funeral. And I just remember them taking care of me. And I remember the feeling that they were his best friends. And it took me 20 years later when I was stationed in Quantico and I met actually ceremonial platoon Marines that they were just a reserve at that local area. They didn't know my brother at all. But as a brother or sister in the Marine Corps, we take care of each other. And so that was really the start of why I wanted to join the Marine Corps. And I went enlisted, although I had my college degree. I went enlisted because I wanted to do what my brother did. And so I went to San Diego, MCRD San Diego, enlisted, made it to the rank of corporal. I was a Huey crew chief there in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And a captain pilot encouraged me to put my package in for OCS. And so I applied and I was accepted and got commissioned to second lieutenant in 1998. Became an accounting officer after OCS and TBS. I became an accounting officer for Marine Corps Base Quantico. I later on went back to school as a comm officer. And then I kind of finished out my time in the Marine Corps writing case studies for Guantanamo Bay, which was really an interesting job, but very informative, and used a lot of my writing talents to do that. And so that's kind of my military journey. And through that entire time, I made lots of friends, and I've continued to stay in the military community with travel. And, you know, that's one thing that I'd worked with you on, hiring spouses to be travel agents at home. And I still continue to do that. I think we have 5 spouses, Navy moms, Air Force sisters, all on staff helping military families book travel. So
wonderful. Well, what an incredible journey then. Definitely early career in your life as a Marine, and then of course, transitioning through the different paths to specialize in certain levels of your Marine Corps journey. What an incredible way that you have created out there, and such a great, powerful story. And I'm very sorry about your brother. Sorry about your loss. And thank you for your service as a military service member that you have also provided to your family. Now, I do want to shift a little bit about your experience in the Marine Corps and going through those different different sets of career exploration. What would you say that helped you launch your business or your businesses? Because you're a multi-entrepreneur.
Right. I mean, I think every day there's something that comes back from the Marine Corps that reminds me how to stay focused. And I was going through today thinking about all the cliches that we hear in the Marine Corps and all the good advice. And it really starts at boot camp, back at MCRD San Diego, learning how to put one foot in front of the other foot, learning how to hold a rifle properly. And the Marine Corps and the military has a special way of teaching you these things just step by step, one box on top of the other box, building that foundation. But I had a lot of good leadership in the Marine Corps from the get-go, which was really advantageous to not only them, but to now. But one of the things I remember is never fall in love with a plan. And as an entrepreneur, it's going to change, immediately. You think you have the perfect plan, and then the very next day, you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? And the other one is you got to go at some point, right? You got to launch. And so in the Marine Corps, I was taught 70%. All right, you're never going to reach that 100%. You can chase perfection all day long, but at some point you just got to pull the trigger. And so at 70%, I pull the trigger and I move forward. So never fall in love with a plan, and you just have to launch at some point, and then you pivot, you over-adapt, you adapt and overcome, and you make those changes when you need to. And with ParadeDeck.com, and we can get into this in a few minutes, but I really started that 4 weeks ago. I had no idea I was going to do ParadeDeck.com 4 weeks ago. And last week I launched it. And the very next day, you know how I felt? I'm a failure. I can't do this. Nobody's going to do this. Nobody's started. Nobody's joined. Why did I do this? And so that's where the Marine Corps comes back into play. I got to pivot. I've got to give myself affirmations. I immediately contacted you. I knew Laura would at least give me some kudos, and I didn't know I'd actually be on your radio show. So,
well, and kudos to you for sure. I mean, and thank you for sharing that. I'm going to steal that tagline: never fall in love with the plan. And I think I'm going to use that for my future projects. I'm not falling in love with the plan, because I think that's key. And just just getting out there, just launching. Sometimes there's, and I don't necessarily classify myself as that, but there's sometimes overthinking or too perfectionism into the process, and you just want all the steps to be checked online and everything. And yes, there's great deal to that, to planning and obviously coordinating a good product. But sometimes you just have to go for it and do it. And my God, I applaud you for doing this in a short period of 30 days. And I hope that our community is watching right now. We have, again, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're definitely on Twitter as well. And then on our YouTube channel for our members at the Veteran Chambers that support you and help you navigate this amazing, I think it's a great resource. So now you mentioned, just launching 30 days ago, this particular project, but in regards to your overall business success, what would you say has been any challenges that stick to mind, any business challenges that you can share now, reflect back, and how have you faced these?
Great question with probably 1,000 different answers. One of the things I always reflect back on is the fog of war, as we say in the military. And I looked up the definition of that today, and it's all about uncertainty and facing your adversary, which is normally yourself, is the adversary, the self-doubt, having fear, not having the confidence to step forward and do something. But I think when it comes to starting a business, we have to reframe where we are in life. And it's not, I know a lot of people will say, if I just had the money, if I just had the right partners, if I just had the right connection, then all of this would fall in place. Because all of us have great ideas. There's no doubt. We all have a message to communicate. We have a product or a service. So there's no doubt there's not a lack of great ideas out there. So I think for me, I'm 53 years old. So it's taken a while to really accept that there's going to be barriers and friction along the way. And there's going to be a lot of failures and consequences to those failures. But I just have to keep journaling those down and learning from it. And so when I launched Parade Deck 30 days ago, it sounds like, oh, wow, that was pretty much overnight. But that was 50 years of like a lot of mistakes. And I move really quickly. And that's one of the, I think, things that play in my favor is I'm a quick thinker. I'm a good hacker. I can hack things together. So I don't have a lot of money, so I have to use different platforms to make things work. But I think one of the things that is a challenge is support. Not everybody are entrepreneurs. And you can't take your idea to everyone and think they're going to, oh, great job. Yes, that's the best idea in the world. And you're going to be, there are a lot of self-doubters out there, because they don't believe in themselves. So I would say that would be my biggest challenge, was overcoming other people's opinions and thoughts, because those thoughts and opinions aren't mine. And you have to take what you feel, your passion, and go forward with it. No matter how it turns out, you have to go forward with it.
I love that. Absolutely. And I applaud you for having, again, just the commitment to yourself foremost. And first of all, and just pushing forward and seeing the positive. Well, if there's one thing I've learned when participating in this particular show and the segments and throughout the year plus that we've been on, is that there's always a customer for a product or your product or somebody else's product. So there's always, you just have to believe it in yourself and just push forward and not, apply yourself to that negative self-talk. So yeah, let me take a quick moment to recap real quick, Andrew. For those who are watching, our sponsor for today, Parade Deck, which is the #1 search engine for social media events, podcasts, and streaming. And again, we just launched less than 30 days or so ago. But like Andrew mentioned, this is a product that has been compiling in all ideas and everything over the last 50 plus years of Andrew's life and so make sure that you go and try it out. Our show is there right now. I see it. And so other shows is now very simple for you to share your events. Andrew is a U.S. Marine Corps officer major, and since then he has founded multiple entrepreneurial ventures that have always supported the military community. So thank you. And now, Andrew, what would you tell, given that you were also reflecting back about your journey as you continue to navigate multiple ideas and things, what would you tell your younger self now that you know now that you perhaps did not know even 30 days ago?
Yeah, that's always a tough one. definitely there's some easy ones. Don't drink so much, treat people fairly, be optimistic. There's always those easy ones. But I mean, I just think the biggest thing for me is to continue to move forward with what you just said, that self-talk, those affirmations, and knowing that you're where you're supposed to be right at this moment, and embrace that. But the younger me, I mean, gosh, just removing that negative around you and surround yourself with people that believe in you, but they'll still give you their opinions and their thoughts. But when you have, I heard this quote actually yesterday, when someone decides to leave your life, let them leave your life. Don't hold on to your surroundings just because you think that's all you have. That's your opportunity to move forward and to be your own thinker. And I used to have a challenge of always wanting to conform to whoever was around me. And if they said my idea was bad, I would abandon it based upon that influence. And it took me a long time to get over that. And I still have to remind myself daily that I can make my own decisions, that's one person's opinion, and I have the right to participate and to think for myself and to voice my opinion. And if someone doesn't like that, then they can walk away. I don't have to do that. So I don't know if that answered that question, but I think overcoming that self-doubt and having the right to voice your opinion and your thoughts should be your goal.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you. That is beautiful. You put it very beautifully together, especially nowadays. It's self-care, personal self-care, mental health, and it just being key to yourself and true to yourself is key in order for you to actually move forward. And I think you just said it really, really clearly and very just very you articulated it tremendously well for our audience to understand. It's what's important to you, and you're right. If those who are going to leave or perhaps don't have nothing nice to say about them, perhaps you don't want to be here in your life. It's time to move on. Now, I do want to ask you though, what's next for you or for your organization? How can we all support you as a community here?
So thank you for asking. So parade deck, for those listening that don't get the concept, in the military, we have the sacred ground called the parade deck, and you're introduced to it at boot camp. And it's where you have graduation normally. You go out there and you do your final drill, you do your performance, you have a parade per se out there on that sacred ground of the parade deck. And in my case, it's where everything important takes place. So where I am at in my life right now with my businesses and just my personal journey is to ensure I'm supporting other individuals. Yes, I want to make a living and pay my bills, but I think that's to kind of go back, what I would tell my younger self is supporting, being a servant leader first, and then everything falls into place. So Parade Deck was really built because of that need, working with like Irreverent Warrior, who goes out across the country and they do silky hikes, and they support reducing veteran suicide and mental health, 21 Gun Podcast, Two Marines and a Mic. There are so many organizations out there that have a voice. And I talked about the fog of war earlier, and I kind of rephrase that, the fog of social media. It's so noisy, with these big $1 million or 1 million person Instagram followers. And then you got this veteran who's got 5 people following them, but has a message that could actually save somebody's life. And so what's next for me is really to take that paradedeck.com concept and put people on the parade deck so their voice can be heard. And it starts small and local. It starts with, I don't have to change 1 million people. I can change one person's life. And the people that I've met in organizations over the last few months has really put it in perspective. And their biggest friction point is what? Nobody can find us. I mean, Laura, throughout this broadcast, you've had to remind people we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram. There's so many channels out there, and Parade Deck just brings it together. So you're still on all these platforms, but you can say, hey, our radio show just go to paradedeck.com. It's always going to be there. You'll always find the link right there. And then as a creator, you have a bunch of tools in the dashboard that lets you track how many people come. It sends a post survey. So how did you like this, this podcast? How did you like the radio show? And it gives the creator some feedback. So it kind of goes both ways. It's for you, the creator, the host, and also for the follower or the person that's attending. So go to paradedeck.com, if you're a creator, if you have content, and if you're someone that just consumes content, I guess, watches different events, recommend it to those people that you're following to use paradedeck.com so we can get more people on there.
Absolutely. And then in the meantime, while you're doing all these sharing and supporting, you're supporting a veteran-owned business. So that's the key right there. We're supporting our comrades, our community. So definitely go to paradedeck.com and get connected with Andrew on LinkedIn. And another best way to get a hold of you, Andrew, is there a specific email or something that will work best for you?
Yep, you can email me at andrew@paradedeck.com. LinkedIn is really good. You can just look me up on LinkedIn, but andrew@paradedeck.com. You can email me if your organization that is struggling with, just taking that next step, hey, we have a message, we have a podcast, but we're stuck. I can help you kind of get unstuck.
Great, thank you. And I'm going to bring our founder and CEO so that he can greet you as well and share a little bit about his experience in the business world, but most importantly, just to greet you. He's a talker, so we got to make sure that he's put on a limited time. Hello, boss. How are you?
Thank you, Laura. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Andrew, for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations on your new venture. And I was listening to what you were talking about earlier, and I think it's so important to get rid of the noise and the fog that comes around. And when we started the chamber, and I mean, Laura was pretty much from the beginning, and we always talked about the type of people that we want working with us. And from the beginning, we said we only want positive people that come to work with us, regardless whether they have $1 or $10 million. We don't care. If they're toxic, it doesn't matter. So from the beginning, we had a kind of boundary set up that way, because you're right. I mean, people's opinions shut down people so much, so many ideas, and get people on the negative side, which are unnecessary. And I'm like you, man. I believe on thinking and doing, and modifying. Think, do, modify. Think, do, modify. I'm Army, so a different different leadership style, but it's the same. It's the same goal, So it's like you gotta do, you gotta act, you gotta modify all the time. So I just wanted to thank you.
Maybe you both.
I
was gonna joke. I was gonna say maybe you both happen to pass through the same parade deck, and that's how you have the same thinking. That just
there you go.
The door.
I think it's military. Military have the same. We just had different uniforms, different badges, but it's the same mindset, right, Andrew?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the I did some training. I went through a SEER school, and one of the things I learned through that is I can survive 5 more minutes. I can survive 5 more minutes. And so sometimes I have to think that, like, I can survive this meeting. I can survive this person talking bad about me. All I got to do is get through 5 minutes. And, so I practice that daily.
Nice. Yeah, those type of strategies and tools, it really helps everyone go through the process and overcome challenges. And so just wanted to thank you for coming on the show, and also for, again, we're always open for collaboration. I know you're working with military spouses, and we have a program that kind of collaborates with kind of what you're doing right now, because we train the military spouses on how to be business owners. So we kind of part of that, but we'd love to collaborate with you. I know you're highly recommended by Laura, and if Laura likes you, we like you.
Oh, thank you.
so that.
Don't let me down here. Don't let me down. That's
Yeah.
So, but Yeah, and so thank you very much. Just want to say
Thank you.
I really appreciate your time, and I thank you for your support. We got the sponsorship, and so we'll be following up on that. But thank you, really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's good to be on here.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. And then thank you so much for, once again, Andrew, for sharing this incredible resource. And I hope that all of those of you who are watching and supporting, take the time to go and explore and add your events. It doesn't cost anything to add your one event, to even try it out. So, because we tried it out, and like I said, our event is actually there on this podcast for today. It's there. So be sure that you try it out. So, but I'm going to give you just one last airtime, and see if you want anything to share with our audience.
I just think, gosh, everything we said, just keep pushing forward. I've been following this young female captain on Instagram, and she's in charge of 80 people in her company, and she's got a tagline of "Be fearless." And it just stuck with me today. Is you face your fear and jump out there, and you've got to do that. And if nobody else in this entire world doesn't believe in you, I do. And if you need that affirmation, you can just call me and email me. But I believe in you. And so I just want everybody to know that. And you can take those steps. You can fail, you can succeed, but just keep pivoting, adjusting, and you'll get to where you're supposed to be.
There you go. Thank you so much. That's a beautiful way to end our segment. Thank you so much for joining us once again, and for sharing your resource with our community. And for those of you who are watching, if you want to be part of our show, please be our guest. Join the Veterans Radio Show and Podcast, where we bring live the heroes who are making it happen into our community. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.